Dave, Alexander Isak, we've said about him before how much of a great striker he is. And I think he's the kind of player that a club like Newcastle, who are growing in stature and profile, want and need. We've kind of talked about, can they hold on to him in the past, haven't we? And on games like this, you do realise just how clinical he is. He's such a fantastic finisher. And he kind of made the difference in this game, didn't he?
Absolutely, and he's done it in big games this season. And you mentioned, obviously, 17 goals. I think he's only played 24 games in the league. He's had, obviously, a couple of injury problems along the way, as have a lot of their squad, let's be honest. And I think this performance in itself, it was surprising to some people because we've not known what to expect from Newcastle at times. They have been a little bit inconsistent, especially since the turn of the year. But those who have gone to St James's Park and obviously experienced the kind of atmosphere that they get at that ground won't be surprised because they're well more than capable of pulling out that kind of performance. And it really looked like there was only one team in it, to be honest. And it was 4-0 wasn't a flattering scoreline at all. They had so many opportunities in this game, and they completely dismantled this Spurs team who, let's be honest, have had so much praise throughout the season. Ange has had, Postecoglou's had so much praise again, and I felt a little bit sorry for Eddie Howe at times, and we've thought that this probably could be the end of his tenure at Newcastle. But he's shown that he can get a reaction from this squad, even with the kind of injuries they have. Obviously, to have a player with the calibre of Isak, who's, for me, I think he's one of the best strikers in Europe on his day, providing he can stay fit. I think they're so lucky to have him because I think at the value that they managed to get him for, I think it will be looked at as a steal. I think he'll be one of the next, probably up there with the very best strikers that are around.
Considering his age as well, he's 24. He's still so young, and he's playing and performing and shooting and finishing in the way that he is at that age. He's still got room to grow.
Do you know what? It's great to see him playing so well because this is a player who had carried so much promise when he was at Dortmund, like as a young lad. Yeah. He came in with so much promise, and there were a lot saying, "Oh, this is the new Ibrahimovic." The way his language style and how skillful he is on the ball. Yeah. And to see him obviously to leave Dortmund, obviously because he wasn't getting quite enough football, and then obviously. When he went to Spain and really performing, it's really when he started to catch the eye. And got to give a lot of credit to that Newcastle recruitment team because they've bought him just the right time, and he's showing what he's all about.
Newcastle obviously now climbing the table after Manchester United dropping points against Bournemouth as well, and they're kind of looking at European places now, Myles. And for what they've been through, isn't that a miraculous kind of position as well? What do you think of Newcastle's performance in this game and Isak in particular? What did you make of it all?
Yeah, it was incredibly strong. I mean, they're up to sixth now, and I think they're only 10 points behind Spurs all of a sudden, which is
mad.
It's a fast climb, isn't it, when you consider the position it felt like they were in just a few weeks ago. But yeah, the talent in this side is really clear. Isak was excellent. He gave Mickey van der Ven, who's been considered one of the best centre-backs in the league this season, an absolutely torrid time. He looked awful in this game, didn't he? And Isak was a big part of that. Gordon, again, continues to perform incredibly well and coming forward. The pace that they have on that attack, it's so threatening, and they utilise that really well. And actually, yeah, Dave's right. It could have been 6, 7 or 8, really. And we've seen Newcastle do this before. They are able to completely pick teams off. And when it's going well for them, it seems to go really, really well, which again speaks a lot to their mentality. And it's good for them that they found this momentum at the end of the season and the season doesn't kind of peter out to nothing. Because if they'd got knocked out of the Champions League at the group stage and then finished like 8th, you'd be so disappointed with where you were at. And I think you'd justify it and you'd understand it as a Newcastle fan, but it would feel like so anticlimactic of what had happened last year. But if they can get you Europa League football, well, that then feels like you're continuing to build something. All right, it's not the Champions League, but you've managed to maintain at least European football, and that'd be huge for them.